Hello, my name is Kirioth. It is Monday, the 2nd of November, which means it's time for another Monday Ramble, where we take a look at the previews from yesterday, from Sunday, the 1st of November. Really, I could save a lot of time and confusion, probably, by recording these on the Sunday, but then that would mean recording on Sunday, and usually I am too busy doing pretty much nothing. It's the weekend. You're supposed to do nothing over the weekend. That's the whole point. Anyway, we're going to take a look and see what is on its way in terms of pre-orders and the like for next week. I don't believe there's a huge amount of 40k stuff this week. I'll be honest, I'm just laying it out there straight away. So there's a good chance, not a vast amount for those of us who get the more futuristic side of Games Workshop's products, but we'll take a look. So, the Road to Godhood. I mean, it sounds promising, it sounds good, could be full of delectable treats. Well, straight away, I mean, we've got Morathi and we've got Voldo. I mean, it's Voldo, let's be honest. The dude looks like Voldo. Absolutely fine in my eyes, although there is no explanation given as far as I know. Any of you Soul Calibur lore nerds, get in touch with me if there's any explanation given as to why Voldo is an absolute freak of nature. I don't think there is, but I could be wrong. This will be that box that was teased a while back. So, skipping the trailer, as always, we have Broken Realms. So the Broken Realms saga is set to encompass the entirety of the Age of Sigmar, changing the status quo for every faction. I mean, it sounds pretty big, this, to be honest. It all starts next week with the first book in the series, Broken Realms Morathi, coming your way in hardbook, ebook, and limited editions. Hardbook? Hardback. I mean, technically... No, not all books are hard. It depends on the thickness of the book. What a weird... Let's move on. So, the Shadow Queen has long plotted to attain true godhood, and she's finally seizing her chance. Anyone who stands in the way will suffer. And you'll see this in the epic story that weaves together the Daughters of Cain, Ideneth Deepkin, Slaves of Darkness, Stormcast Eternals, and Cities of Sigmar in a tale that promises to alter the balance of power in the mortal realms. Apparently you're going to have to pick your jaw up off the floor. Promising significant things there. That's quite the reaction. And to kickstart your Broken Realms gaming, you'll be able to use from 4 themed box sets that will help you recreate the armies from the narrative in Broken Realms Morathi. So we've got King Scythus Nematar, so that's Ideneth Deepkin then. We've got Drusa Kraeth, good lord, the fantasy names are in full effect. Kaiser Venbrecht, and Rokar Gresh. What a name Rokar Gresh has got. Amazing. So, looks like there's going to be 4 new army boxes, essentially. Interesting. Be fun to have a look and see what's in those. So, we also have this Shadow and Pain. Now, this was shown off a while back, I believe, where you've got basically a bunch of old models, or not all old, that's not fair. Some of them are more recent than others, and then you've got the 2 new HQs. So, you've got the Slaanesh Lord, and you've got Head Snake Lady. And, to be honest, this is a weird one to me, because they've showed off new Slaanesh Mortals. They've shown those off for Warcry. But in this box, you've got Slaanesh Mortals riding Seekers, and then you've got Demonettes, which is fine, but this feels like it'd be a great opportunity to do a Mortal Followers of Slaanesh box. You know, half of it is there already, and you've got other new models that could have been placed within. I don't know, it just seems like a weird choice in hindsight. At the time, it was like, well, there are no other Mortal Followers necessarily, like no faction-specific Mortal Followers, so it makes sense to do Demonettes instead. But now that we know those models exist, I thought that'd be a really good way to introduce them into Age of Sigmar as a whole. But then again, that takes them out of the exclusive Warcry side of things, so maybe they wouldn't want to do that. But it looks to be kind of an interesting box, to be honest. There's a nice variation of units. And I have to admit, the Daughters of Cain all look solid. That's a really good range. A really nice range. Although I do want that Slaanesh Lord. I really do. I mean, just look at him. It's so... I mean, it's very over the top. It's almost like... I almost feel like there's some like, classic fantasy going on there. There's a bit of that kind of over-the-top comic book cover... You know, like, seriously extreme, but also just a bit weird. That kind of vibe happening with him. Do like it. It's a good model. It is a good model. And that is a solid 2-handed mace. You could properly crush someone with that. Nice. Looking good, the lad. Looking good. Well, within a certain definition of the word good. We also have Bugman. Now, I've seen a couple of things about this. So, This year's Christmas model is Jacob Bugmansson the 11th. So this is the Brewmaster General, descendant of the originator of many fine ales, be available to order throughout November and December before he vanishes into legend. I love this. I love it. No complaints from me at all. They give him a helmet as well. You don't have to have the head if you don't want it. Absolutely first-class decision-making there. He's got a massive barrel on his back with a little tap, and yeah, I mean, I just think this looks great. I really do. There is a character in the first D&D campaign I played in called Tarvok who carried around a big barrel of ale, and he was a dwarf, and it makes me sad that this model is well beyond being out in time for that to have been used. But yeah, I really like this. This is quality. It's just cool. Absolutely no complaints there at all. He's got his tankard of ale. He's got a massive axe. Got a giant keg of beer. I mean, what more could you possibly ask for? Love it. So for 40k, we've got the Space Marine Hero Series 3. So this is the blind purchase stuff. So you buy a box, you don't know what's in the box. I think if you get like a certain size pack, or if you buy like a big box of the different boxes, you kind of guaranteed to get them all, I think. I think that's how it worked for the previous ones, if I remember correctly. So there are 6 models available, each distinctly armed with a textured bait, and they're Death Guard this time round. Not Space Marine, but Death Guard. Oh, and each one comes with a different Nurgling. That's a detail that I hadn't really thought about before, because we have seen these models previously. They have shown up like here and there as part of like promotional stuff for Series 3. That's seriously delayed though, because I'm sure we saw a couple of these at the very least quite a while back. I mean, the guy with the is it the bile spitter specifically? I mean, we saw that ages and ages ago. Probably everything has just been pushed back by the current global nonsense situation of absolute garbage that is destroying 2020 like you wouldn't even believe. But still, yeah, it's nice to see these are actually coming out, because it feels like these have probably been pretty heftily delayed. So yeah, you've got 6 Death Guard lads, one of which is a surprise, and you've got 6 different Nurglings as well. To be honest, I like these models. They look pretty decent. They are, for the most part, relatively restrained compared to some of the other Death Guard stuff. As I say, the lad with the... Is it Bile Spewer? Bile Spitter? The larger gun. He's the only one where I feel like there's a bit too much going on with the weird crystal fungus growth things sticking out, just because they're in weird places. But to be honest, the lad throwing the grenade is actually pretty restrained for a Death Guard model compared to a lot of the newer stuff. Same goes for all of them, really. They're pretty coherent. The standard bearer maybe has got a bit too much in the way of weird tentacle, just because, for me, the placement of that is weird. The placement doesn't look quite right. It looks a bit tacked on to my eye, but that, again, a very, very personal preference type thing. You might think that's absolutely fine, and that's okay too. But yeah, I personally would like to have it somewhere a bit weirder, and a bit less kind of, it's just coming out of his stomach. Maybe stick it coming out of his armpit or something. I don't know, just something a little bit more creepy and less kind of, well, here's a flattish surface, let's just go for that. But again, just me. And I feel like we've actually seen the silhouetted one as well. I feel like we've seen a leaked picture of that, but I could be wrong. We'll have to go digging. I have to go digging and find out. So, we also have some playing cards as well. Sure. So, a set of playing cards featuring incredible art from throughout Warhammer 40,000 history. 54 card set, not a 55 card set. That'll be weird. Features 4 suits: Imperium, Space Marines, Chaos, and Xenos, plus a pair of Jokers, which naturally feature Harlequins on them. And yeah, it's just a set of cards, but with 40k artwork on. Fine, sure, why not? I mean, you've got the artwork. You may as well do as much with it as you can. Forge World-wise, we've got some ground assets for Aeronautica Imperialis, which, again, I quite like the look of. Quite like the look of these. All of the Aeronautica stuff looks decent, in fairness. That is a game where I've got some of the Tau stuff from it, but I haven't got around to painting it yet. Just like everything else. But yeah, they look like decent miniaturized versions. Something that I'm always impressed with the Aeronautica stuff is just how well detailed it is, despite the size. It's really small, but it's really nicely detailed. And it looks like these are no different. To be honest, some of the lines on the official painting of this stuff are a bit too bold for my liking, but that's just an aesthetic choice, and I don't think it takes away from the actual quality or detail of the little tiny models. Looking good. Finally, because Black Library is usually last, we've got a bunch of stuff. So, annual novella series, so there's going to be 5 hardback books. You've got The Rosenhanger, Prisoners of War, Traitor by Deed. That looks very, that's Soul Drinker's colours, right? Oh, and it's Ben Counter as well. Ooh, interesting. Primaris Soul Drinkers. Surely. Got Bone Reapers, and we've got Spark of Revolution. And there's also Covens of Blood, Heirs of Grimnar. And there's also the Black Library Advent Calendar on the way as well, with some quite nice artwork on the front. Does look nice, that. Yeah, I like that. Cool. And then, of course, we've got all the stuff on Warhammer Live. Let's go back to Mr. No, let's stick with this lad. Look at him. Quality model, that. Quality. So yeah, that is what is coming up next weekend. If there's anything there that catches your fancy, then do let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And if you would like to support the channel, there is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use if you want to. It's entirely up to you. I'm not going to force you to do it. It's not like there's someone watching your house and they're going to knock on your door at 11 PM and they're going to use very specifically your first, middle and last name and demand politely that you do that, because that would be preposterous and weird, and how would I even have the resources for that? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.